We have prepared the review of these three stanzas. Of course, this is a very expanded review, and we hope that together with us, you will be able to trace the thought. The volume is indeed huge, and this review will take longer to complete the seminar. We wish you to have the focus of thought. Let the wisdom live in our life consciousness.
The Secret Doctrine provides absolutely fundamental possibilities for understanding the structure of the world, and this foundation becomes understandable and applicable for each of us. Then a person can easily answer any question, both to himself and to everyone else. For in these answers, there is a free movement of thought that knows the laws. For as soon as the general or unified law is understood and accepted, then it begins to act in the life of each day, acting precisely as an individual manifestation. So the consciousness has become the bearer of this law. The deepest symbolism is embedded in every word of the Dzyan stanzas. In order for this symbolism to become understandable and applicable for life, it's necessary to reveal the symbols. How are they revealed? To begin with, their acceptance, trust, and penetration is what opens them up. Then there is admiration for this beauty and great harmony. This is how freedom appears. The mind becomes plastic and active, and the heart becomes the source of inspiration that guides to knowledge. The penetration and interaction for all the diversity that opens up in the world of symbolism must certainly find ways to act and apply. The purer the motives, the purer the consciousness, the greater the penetration and connection of diversity into a single state. So we'll always find joy in every moment of a grey weekday. The plasticity of consciousness gives this quality. Find joy and inspiration in any event. The reason is trust. If at least one person has experienced this complete trust, then he'll always have a tool, sword and a shield to win. A sword will cut off the lower, the shield will approach to the high and raise consciousness, since it's not the shield that protects but the hand holding and guiding it, the hand of a man. Any facet of the opening symbolism in an instant changes the entire structure of human bodies, reuniting them into a single state of harmony of the world. In this state there is no limits. It leads to infinity. This is the effect of opening symbolism. We'll try to draw correspondence between the non-form and form, the unspoken and what a person can hear, see and understand. This understanding transforms, that it becomes new. New understanding is the assimilation of new elements. Stanza 1, 9 slokas, the symbol of spirit. Stanza 1, formation of the cause of sound or silence. How the formation process took place. Sloka 1. Veils are described in the stanzas, in description of what was not there, but as soon as it was manifested, Manvantara began. Veil 1. Everything begins when time begins. Manvantara, eternity, which is already estimated, and differentiation begins. Veil 2. Agni. When time appears, there is hierarchy of beings, who are the vehicles of the divine forces, breath of life, inhale and exhale. Veil 3. Universal mind. Principle 3. Mahad, the highest manas. First, there are Agni, vehicles that are ready to accommodate the universal mind, and there is only then that the universal mind emerges. Veil 4. The 7 veils, ways to end suffering. Veil 4 is the shape. The first 3, time, Agni, and mind, fall into the 4th state, and there is 7-fold reward in the direction of paths to bliss, that is, path marked out by the higher powers before the causes of suffering appear. This path is given as the highest thing given to the highest. It's denoted the entire hierarchy. Veil 5, the great causes of suffering, potentiality. 5, the symbol of a man. The gods don't suffer, minerals don't suffer, man suffers, man is the cause of suffering potentially. Veil 6, Father, Mother, and Son are one. 6, or heart, the single supreme essence, Buddhi, wisdom, the state of unity between male and female principle and their movement, or ray. There is no movement, nothing has started, there's been no division. State 6 is the state of absolute wisdom. Veil 7, the sun who will awaken to new will and travel on it. Sun or ray, the beginning of the movement. When all the sevenfold is gathered, the movement arises. The ray symbol 7, the awakening of Manvantara will begin, and the countless incarnations of the soul, sun, moon that begin to wander will begin. The Pythagorean triangle 1, 2, 3, 4 adds up to 10. 1, 2, and 3 are 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 plus 4. There is no 7. 7 is missing, hidden. The ray is hidden, the movement is hidden. Sides of the triangle by 4, 3 sides, 4, 12, 3. The 3, it's hidden potential movement, the subtonality, that means movement of the ray, and implies the movement of the ray. Any of the 4 periods manifesting from the inside out or manifesting the inner movement of the ray becoming 7. 7 is one subtonality. 7 multiplied by 2 sevenfolds, 14, 5. 7 multiplied by 3 sevenfolds, 21. 3, 7 multiplied by 4 sevenfolds, 28, 10. The sum of the 4 periods, 7, 5, 3, 10, 25. 25 is today's number, the 25th of May. In sum, it's 7. 7x. The sum of the 4 periods is also equal to 7, and this 7x degree, the rotation of the cross of life, was laid. It was a material, vertical, and horizontal line. And when the internal movement of the 7 from the inside out began, it became spiritual x. Therefore, the secret of 7x, or individual, hidden in a transformation up to a certain period, up to a certain cycle, when karma allows, 7 will manifest or become spiritual light. This is the great secret of each of us, or the secret of karma. Sloka 2. Time. Time can be divided. Duration cannot be. Something must exist within the time and space, and something must go beyond time and space. What should exist inside time and space? It's Mahat, that slumbers until a certain cycle. What goes beyond time and space? The mind. And the cycle comes and time begins. So Mahat, or mind, determines consciousness and time, which is not yet there, but there is only the duration in which it slumbers and remains in a state of rest. Sloka 3. Ahi, or breathing. Inhalation and exhalation. Ah is inhalation from the outside to the inside, goes to the point. Ah, the universe has shrunk. Then there is a pause where everything is going to a plane of archetypes, and from plane of archetypes beginning the second part of He, exhalation. Exhaled He from the inside to the outside. Ah, He, and the whole hierarchy of divine beings as inhalation and exhalation is built. Ahi, the 7 primordial rays, or logoi emanating from the first logos threefold, but one in essence. Ahi, the Anchohans, are intelligent forces. Razum, the mind, Rise, the sun god, or light. In the third race he descended, and humanity became monadic, and the moon began to manifest itself as the descent of this light to the intelligence through Zat, that is Ra-Zat-U-M. Ra-Zum, symbolically Zat, connects the top and bottom, beginning and end, manifested and unmanifested, cycles, so on. I here allow us to sit and understand clearly, and they connect the mind and the heart and become intelligent. Then the ray touches the consciousness and understanding comes. The symbol is the 6-ray star. The 6-ray star is Rupa Ahi, or the property of understanding for man and Zed, connecting the basis of 2 triangles of highest and lowest. The key is the basis of this understanding. The key point, Ahi, are the intelligent forces that give and enact the nature and laws. Note that Agni first creates a suitable basis which only then becomes a guide. What is this basis? Don't delegate their own laws to nature, but to give to and enact in nature her laws. This is hierarchy of celestial beings, the Tian Chuhans. They were in the beginning of the basis to reveal in nature its own laws, not to impose their own. Great reverence was at first, and then, in the matter of space of a certain plane, the same Agni began to manifest it. They act according to the laws assigned to them. What does it mean? It means that at the beginning this reverence was shown to bring out its laws in nature. Or the first manifestation, the highest forces asked permission from the lowest forces. That's what it means. The seven-pointed star on its plane, it gave the very foundation. It asked for the permission, and then the guides of Tian Chuhans began to fulfill the will of the highest or the densest of our plane. Mahat is the great Manvantarian principle of mind. The eternal mind radiates Agni. Agni come from unity and are the first of these seven rays. A single white ray is then 3, 7, and these 7 primary colors are differentiated indefinitely. Sloka 4. There was no 7 ways to bliss, which is an absolute being. What are these 7 ways to bliss? Connection of the sevenfold, from the single to the physical one, from the plane of archetypes to the plane of archetypes, from the physical plane to the plane of single, end up in a following combination of numbers. This is the combination of numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, 7, 9, 11, 5, 6, 7, 84 in sum, 12 in sum, which is the connection of 7, and this is 12. What can be 12? There, the 12 Nidanas. If the Nidanas are powers, then any power is a transition from one state to another. It connects, expands, and pushes to at the highest point of the arc into another state. What does it mean, connects? It connects the opposite. What does it mean to expand it? It merges with the unity. What does it mean to push out? It stimulates a new transition. By connecting the two opposites, the two forces, centrifugal and centripetal. And then the balance is there. When is balance there? There is no reason to suffering, because there is no one to interfere this balance. These are the clashes of Nidanas, anger, malice, lying, ignorance, etc. Nidanas are the moral factors generated by illusion. The feeling of separateness lies at the core of any evil, that is suffering. Suffering is gathered at the physical plane. The cause of this suffering is the material and formative plane. The end of suffering is the plane of mind and creativity. As the spirit of man is connected to the universal spirit, the destruction of causes of being and the approach to the great truth is the plane of archetypes. The plane of spirit is the triangle in the circle, that is the great truth, where the illusion of paranirvana disappears through the plane of prototypes, appearing to the plane of spirit, is beyond forms. The sum of Nidanas is based on 4 truths. Sum or combination of the sum of 12 Nidanas is in the sum of 3. 4 truths plus 3 is 7. This is the 7 ways to bliss. The sum of Nidanas 3 is based on 4 truths, which is equal to 7 ways to bliss, which did not exist. There was no reason for suffering yet, no 7 ways, nor 4 planes, no differentiation or reflection, illusions. There was no separation, and all was still in unity. There was no dissection of matter and spirit. The eternal spirit remains in inviolable integrity in all worlds and in its own, for it's present there and it's absent where it's present. Sloka 5. Father, Mother and Son are the 3 unmanifested logoi. The 3 logoi. First one is the unmanifested Father. The second one is the semi-manifested Mother. That is the secret of semi-manifested Mother. It will be manifested only when the Son or the universe appears. And the third one, the universe or the Son, once again united during the periodic pralaya, they merged into a single unmanifested entity, dissolved in each other. They became once more the one light, the one cause of light, the light that will be manifested by movement of Wuhat. They became a single ring or wheel. The wheel is a symbol of the expression of the world or sphere. The great wheel is the completed period of our cycle of being of Mahakalpa, or the complete revolution of our special chain of 7 globes and spheres from the beginning of the end. The wheel is a symbol of time. Involution is the unfolding, growth, and development of life. Evolution is the collapse of life forms. The day is the highest point. Night is the lower point on the arc of the time cycle. The dawn is the first quarter of the cycle, and the twilight is the last quarter of the cycle. It turns out that the wheel is the completion, connection of the arcs of consciousness that manifests itself when the arcs are connected, and then the sun begins its journey or movement, which became this very consciousness, that is wheel. He himself is in this wheel. When he begins to move, that is unmanifested becomes manifested, and the arcs are connected into a ring or wheel. The cosmos is not somewhere on the sidelines, but passes through the center, which is the person, and all lights, energies, colors, light, information, and the manifestation of time all passes through the center of the person, and the person of human being himself passes through the center, and this center is the center of the cosmos, the center of all world, the center of the universe. So the light should give an impulse for the movement of monad or the wheel, and the human consciousness will gradually expand and become cosmic at the end. That is the center of cosmos, and the center of person will become one, and man is freed through the manas, which leads the person or the man to liberation from dense matter, destroying those qualities that chain the man to physical incarnation. These qualities are limitations of the mind. Sloka 6. There is one law that rules the entire cosmos, the supreme will. The great mind creates the earth by the power of hierarchy. The driving force of the universe is the will to create. Four-heart appears in aspect of cosmic electricity. The 4 spirits of fire indicate the action of the 4 differentiations of electrical energy, which are manifested in the conductors of organic matter in the form of qualities of consciousness: initiative, understanding, coordination, and execution. The plane of archetypes is initiatives. The plane of mind and creativity is understanding. The material and formative plane is coordination, and physical plane is execution. Therefore, the fulfillment of the instructions of the teachers given in the teaching is the first impulse towards perfection, so that a person can get the recognition or coordination that leads to understanding, and then there is an idea or reason for the for the initiation or motivational impulse of the mind to create. Sloka 7. The basis of psychic energy is primary matter and spatial fire, the 2 doors that can be opened by the great souls of the Mahatma of humanity, and light will be shed from the open eye of Dharma, which is not affected by Maya. Full realization of truth can come to a person only with the development of the 6th sense, buddhi, which is heart, intuition, and divine mind, which will be possessed by representatives of the 6th race of humanity. This state corresponds to constellation of Taurus or Aum in the Kala Chakra, where 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Kala Chakra principles are 40 in total. What is 40? 40 is the inner member of the spirit understanding, inner light. The eye of Dharma is the state of creative potentiality, the creating person, which manifests the inner form of light. Light is actually consciousness, the only eternal reality. It's an individual who creates all the plans of life, passing through them, and everything else is an illusion or reflection of this reality. When a person becomes a creator, he becomes conscious and manifests his individuality. Then he comes out of the reflection of reality from illusion and approaches the truth or eternal reality, on which no Maya has any influence, because the light has become a single being, or the 7th. Sloka 8. The eye of Dharma is the eye of Shiva, destruction for the sake of creation, continuous reincarnation. He is the 3rd one. He is the salvation from duality and opposing. The eye of Dharma does not see, but it senses. And if there was no physical plane yet, like a person was not, the Dharma is nothing to sense, and he has not yet opened his eye. From the plane of unmanifested to the physical plane, there are 7 states of mind. Each of the 7 states is a special part of the mind that comes into interaction on another plane of being. Dreamless sleep is a gap that seems to be the state is not held by memory of the waking state. Actually, its complete completeness. He is the cause of light and darkness, the state of the undifferentiated world. That is, darkness and light are not opposites. Darkness makes light visible. Light is the first glimmer that appears in undifferentiated matter, throws light into the sphere of objectivity at the level from which manifestation begins. The first glimpse, it's the gap of consciousness. The gap of consciousness means the state of space and mind being in akasha. Practically, it's the state of equilibrium, an apparent emptiness, shunyata, which is complete completeness, in which there is a gap of consciousness which appears. The way is like cycles that are set by three causes. First, transmutation of old accumulations. Second, clearing the space. Third, injection of a great fire. Future. The third state of the third cycle is the injection of the great future. This is akasha, the state of complete completeness, until the moment when this injection of the great future begins to manifest, and every vibration, thought, will be imprinted in akasha, which keeps off the memory of the spirit. The center of the solar plexus gives balance to all bodies. Interwearing of all centers and all bodies is compared to spiral rings that get united in the center of solar plexus. Rotation of the solar plexus center is ejection of psychic energy. The radiations of the solar plexus pass through all centers and rotating the rays pierce all the centers, giving intuition and unification with the fire energy. The pure white ray of the divine sun was shining through the newly opened doors and was not refracted, falling apart. When there is no falling apart, no refraction, there is shunyata, state of transcendental wisdom of the mind, balance arises, karma disappears, the highest speed of sound arises, which finally becomes the cause of sound. Then the eye of Dharma can be opened from the plane of prototypes, where akasha reigns. The light of consciousness does not merge with anything and does not connect, but penetrates everything by itself, releasing fire. Love leads the mind to the great gate of learning, where we see direct and credible knowledge with no reasoning or dissolve included. Love leads us to knowledge, and knowledge is open there. There is no discourse. By the force of love, prana makes the way easy and shining, defining the movements on the way as beamy and fast towards opening the eye of Dharma. Sloka 9. The one-syllabled, the one, unmanifested logos, the three-syllabled, the second, manifested logos, the seven-syllabled, the triangle concreting into the quaternary or tetragrammaton, at the rays of the letter on the material plane. Mahat, or universal mind, thought cognition, before manifesting as Brahma or Shiva, is revealed as Vishnu. Therefore, it is as logos in several aspects. Mahat is the lord of the primary creation. Manas was born and called egoism. It is born as self-fulfilling I, the secondary creation, the ninth creation, when Mahat develops into self-consciousness and takes the name of egoism. Mahat in man is Manas, actually becoming the self. But as long as Mahat is in equilibrium, there is no creation in equilibrium. Or in Alaya center. Alaya is the three states, spirit, soul, and body unity. The point, the cross at the plane of archetypes means Christ, the light, the beginning, the new cycle, the beginning of the journey start when merging of Alaya gives this force of moving into another plane, and Laya appears. Sloka 9 describes the unmanifested state of the ninth creation. The ninth creation is the three threefold forces, 3 multiplied by 3 is 9, in the single state, which are ready to give an impetus and start a new cycle or new movement. What is 9? It's inside, there is 7 hidden planes of being, and the 2 in the external space, they are the 2 alaya, anupadaka, in which the 2 forces keep the septimity, and when the cycle comes, they will become a form of movement. So where was Dharma when the alaya of the universe was in Paramatma and the great wheel was Anupapadaka? Dharma was in the place where there were the builders, or in the subtlety of the unmanifested ninth creation of the universe. Stanza 1, formation of the cause of sound or silence. The reason of the sound, the cause of sound, is the future ethereal aura. Stanza 1 begins to collect this potential space. There was not yet a breath, yet the breath, inhalation and exhalation stopped. There was no vibration to the lives or atoms that make it up. Lie centers of various levels passing from one manvantara to another. A creator is being created who will breathe into us life, from whose cell we originated. As long as there is no plane to convey the trajectory of the sound, it's impossible, but it's possible to create a projection. All of us, being forms, have the ability to recognize the first sound. Stanza 1 is now a projection of the first sound is created. Stanza 2, 6 slokas, symbol of matter, or mother. Sloka 1. The correspondence of the period of the end of completion and the beginning of manifestation, the completion of pralaya, corresponds to the beginning of Manvantara. This is the simultaneous movement of the two periods. Stanzas 2 and 3 are the description of the 6th and 7th period of completion of pralaya and the 2nd and 3rd periods of the beginning of Manvantara. Dawn stayed before differentiation, Manvantara, the simultaneous action of two forces of completion at the beginning of new cycle, pralaya and Manvantara. Merged into a single evolutionary state of potentiality of action, therefore, there is no complete pralaya, there is only partial pralaya, since evolution never stops, therefore a cycle in a cycle is a gradual dissolution and the beginning of new one. The second stanza tells us about the first impulse of differentiation of the space of absoluteness, which will lead to the appearance of the fifth of the planes of being, the plane of mind and creativity, the second logos and the creator, the seven-ray star, the builders, Devamatri, the root of the world, and Swabhavat, the essence of potentiality. They rested in the bliss of non-being, the state of nirvana, the plane of archetypes. So, when the unity of the three is accomplished, then each of the three is reflected in two, and each of the two manifests itself in every third and constitutes one within, the phenomenon of its genius. First, Swabhavat, spirit and essence of substance. Second, the root of the world, Devamatri. Third, radiant sons, builders, creators of forms, of non-forms, the Ahi, or Paranishpana. When the three merge into a single state of space, this is the triple key. The triple key to removing Maya's shackling embrace. The great three-sided key, if in the hands of a genuine disciple, then the power to unlock this wonderful door consisting of many parts united in great synthesis, what we call life. This is the threefold evolution of matter, substance and soul, developing in parallel simultaneously and yet completely independently. The triad of matter, substance and soul will certainly manifest and reveal the mystery of action, whatever it may be. Matter, substance and soul are the same as matter, force and consciousness. The three keys by Madame Rarich, the three great keys, are stored not on other planets, not in the star worlds, but in oneself. The names are love, beauty, and knowledge. Love is the power that rules the world. Everything that is done for its sake has the power of the universal law. It should acquire transparency, like a ray of penetration, become a light and all-pervading as a white ray, which cannot be measured, since it's essentially transparent light. The names of these are love, or Swabhavat, beauty, or the root of world, Devamatri, and knowledge, or the builders. For a while they rested in the depth of non-existence, but a cycle will come when they begin to manifest, and it depends on a person to preserve the transparency of each of them. Stanza 2, Sloka 2. Infinity cannot be related to the limited and conditional. It does not know itself because there has not yet been a consciousness or an object that could divide. This one continuous and manifested breath into in-breath and out-breath manifested to divide infinity. The three key points. Infinite duration coexists with space and primordial indestructible matter. Second, single eternal element, space beyond dimensions. Third, the incessant movement in the breath of a single element, absolute movement. Breathing never stops, even during the eternities of pralaya. The first has its own reflection or connection and merges with 2 and 3. The second merges into 1 and 3, and the third merges into 1 and 2. All three are one. In future combination potentially creating new forms of the non-form, all substances of new elements are consequences of numerous variants of interaction or combination of these new elements. Where was silence? Where were the ears to sense it? No, there was neither silence nor sound. Since the seventh period of completion of pralaya has come, which has absorbed all sounds and they have dissolved or died, can no longer be heard. When your whole personality is defeated and thrown at the feet of the teacher, then the disciple merges with the one, identifies with the one, and abides in it. Your voice merges with the voice of the teacher, and the voice of silence begins to sound. Then the truth itself shines in silence. Stanza 2, Sloka 3. It is this ideal or abstract triangle that is the point of the mundane egg, which after the maturation period comes out of the egg at the third stage, forming a real triangle. The third sloka corresponds to potential third stage of appearance, exit from the point of triangle. First logos, potentiality and disclosed reason. Second logos is still hidden, a hidden thought. The third logos is demiurge, active will, becomes cause at the lower level. Eternal darkness is parabrahman. Even the logos can only simulate prakriti, but is unable to look behind this curtain. Circle level, black surface. The dot in it is potentially white. At this point, it's the first connection available to our mind with the invisible logos. So the three key points, dot or germ, surface and Matripadma. And Matripadma. The point is the channel that goes into infinity. The point is the center source of life, symbol of the primary creative energy, concentrated. It can be reflected by something immaterial. A whole symbolism of the point is an extremely compressed energy, is extremely close to modern physical and astronomical theories about origin of the universe. For any phenomenon begins with a point. It underlies all dimensions, generates a line in its development, serves as the center and support of the cross and circle. Being itself immutable and immobile, it generates movement, for example, the rotation of wheel, etc. This is the center of human life, human self. Having reached a certain point, the sage reaches the heart, peace, divine presence. The heart of man and the heart of God are one. Therefore, when the sage reaches the heart, the divine supreme presence touches him. Main point meanings: center and the beginning of countdown. Primary point, the unmanifested one, forms the threefold, the symbol of the beginning, middle and end, respectively the three elements of the mystical syllable Aum. The point and the circle tend to converge in the single point, which is the name. From the big letter, this union is the process of merging the plural into the one, it's deification. The point is the inevitable middle. The unity of the central point is in contrast to the circumference of the wheel of samsara. The eternal darkness is eternal, the rays periodic. Having escaped from the central point and pierced the germ, the ray is drawn back to the starting point, and the germ develops into the second logos, a triangle inside the mundane egg. Further, the 7 rays emanate from the manifested logos, and then countless hierarchies occur from these rays. The mundane egg, it is not matter, strictly speaking, an atom. It's the first stage of manifestation, undifferentiated primary matter, in which the life-giving embryo will receive the first spiritual impulse. Thus potentiality becomes reality. Material form can be destroyed. The atom is not destructible, like the first divine unit. The center of a circle that doesn't have a circle, it's located everywhere, like the germ. The germ is all the non-manifested nature of creative force that must manifest. Actually, it's Brahma. Stanza 2, Sloka 4. The fourth sloka is the description of the fourth state of germ, that is heart. The fourth is the aura of the universe. Its light is the purest, because the first is the first subtonality of light. It's perfect and incredibly beautiful in its purity. It's an unearthly beauty, there is no admixture of light reflection, that is, a denser shade of color. Therefore, the aura appears white or colorless. But in this first subtonality, there is absolutely pure first basis of the 7 primary colors. The aura of the universe in this period has perfect primary colors, and only then their correlation will give many shades and combinations of different basic tones of the first 7. So, the first triad, the second quadrilateral Pythagorean number, the third perfect square, the fourth hexagonal cube of the ground. This is the first trajectory of movement of light expressed by the geometry of rays in space when the root cause appears from the causeless cause, which corresponds to the Immaculate Conception. When the heart opens, only then knowledge, as the absolute existence of the Supreme Truth, can be recognized by the higher ego, which leads to the liberation of Maya, and then the astral light ceases to be seducer as the limited feelings of a person disappear, and then the astral light shines with its pristine purity of the first 7-fold. The heart of Madre Padma is not yet opened, because a single 7-fold ray had not penetrated into the germ, but when the ray pierces the germ will bring down the power of creative power or 7-fold, life-giving force into the lap of Maya. Stanza 2, Sloka 5. What connects the state of a person's consciousness or his expression of thought with the radiation of light? These are human eyes. It's known that the color of a person's eyes does not change in all incarnations. The color of the eyes, namely the shade of iris of the person, determines his character. An organ that has the ability to perceive electromagnetic radiation in the light wavelength range and provides the function of vision. There's a retina inside the eye. It's on that the image is projected on. As a film and camera, it consists of photoreceptors and nerve cells. The data received by the retina is transmitted via the optic nerve to the brain, where the picture we see already being formed. The fabric of light is like the retina of eye, capable of radiating and seeing at the same time. The structure of human retina. The retina of human adult has a diameter of 22 millimeters and covers 72% of the area of the inner surface of the eyeball. 22 is 4 in sum, form of internal state. 7 plus 2 is 9, spiritualization of form. 7 multiplied by 2 is 14, 2 septenaries. First, a full circle connecting the inner and outer, 14 or 5. 5 pentagram, symbol of man. 5th principle, the highest manners or mind, or reasonable person. The retina of eyes is the expression of Homo sapiens, reasonable person, radiating and having the ability to see at the same time, which corresponds to the state of space of the fabric of light of the universe. The retina becomes an iridescent. In the central part of the spot of the area of fossa, the cones are have minimal dimensions and are mosaically arranged in the form of compact hexagonal structures. Hexagonal structure is tetragrammaton symbols, heart symbol. The sun is the heart of the system, and the human heart is also the sun of the body. There is septenation, diminution of the radiant nature. The 7 inside, 7 outside at the same time manifest, and logos or movement appears. Atma is concentrated in buddhi, but embodied only in manas, and they are spirit, soul and body of the universe. The area of the circle is black, the point in the circle is potentially white. Flashing of the germ, penetration of the germ, the beam is drawn back inside the point, and the germ develops into a second logos triangle inside the mundane egg. Potential point is stage 1, then stage 2 is coming, then stage 3, the third logos unmanifested, or the first manifested, the 7 rays. The point. Then the line goes, or 2, the line passes into the surface form in 3, the traxis is there, tetrad or 4, if you put a point under it. A square becomes a cube. The surface of a cube consists of 6 squares, and the unfolded cube forms a cross in which the vertical line includes 4 squares and the horizontal one includes 3, as the result of which 6 faces give us the number 7, 7 principles or 7 Pythagorean properties of man. In other words, the logos becomes tetragrammaton, triangle or triple turns into 4. Vertical 4 intersected with horizontal 3. The 6 cube forms 7, or the expanded cube, or the 7 principles. Now, let's go to the variations of the great formula 3 fall into 4. These three are spirit, will, and mind, animating the 4 lower principles. A square becomes a cube when each of the vertices of the triangle doubles, dividing into male and female aspects. The 6-pointed star, or tetragrammaton, the 7 suns are the creators of the universe. Man, in several systems, was considered as the third logos. The third logos is the demiurge, the creator of logos, Mahata mind, the builder, the divine force that built the universe. A person who has intelligence or creative power that builds his consciousness or brings awareness of light closer becomes a true creation of Brahma. Stanza 2, Sloka 6. 7 stages, 7 covers, 7 periods, 7 cycles of the concealment, a full circle to its manifestation as a ray. That is immaculate conception, transformation from single fusion circle to the power of manifestation of the ray of the one, ray in the circle, which corresponds to I am I. Immaculate conception means a person illuminated when the person meets the higher self and begins conscious actions. That is, a second life comes, 2 lives, one physical, and the second when the immaculate conception took place, a person became spiritual and felt and realized his spiritual nature. He gave birth to himself. Therefore, the immaculate conception is a state that anticipates the beginning of the ascent. That is, man, after realizing himself as the whole of humanity, can begin to ascend. This is understanding of the unity of brotherhood. And symbolism and sacred geometry, the 6th sloka corresponds to the tetragrammaton. It gives an understanding of the state before differentiation, that is, the third state through the sun or mental breathing, the creation of the universe. That is the immaculate conception, so a person has rebirth, spiritual one, with a full reflection of the higher self, and it begins to manifest through a person, through the light, or sun, or the ability to penetrate through a single race born by the truth. In this period there is no separation, since the sun has not yet been born. There is complete reflection. We are in the period of immaculate conception of the universe. The two after these two are the germ, and the germ is one. The universe was still concealed in the divine thought and the divine bosom. The self had not yet been formed. Its single entity is a single number for the present, past, and future, the single germ. Stanza 2. The state of the divine mind, that is, the state of mind transparency. Through what can we achieve transparency of mind? This path is described in 6 slokas. Transparency of mind consists of builders of the universe, unbreakable breathing, the single ray, the heart, the web of light, the divine thought. The universe was still concealed in the divine thought and the divine bosom. Stanza 3. 12 slokas is the symbol of the formation of the spirit in matter, the creation of the root cause of the world structure which should design the universe. Stanza 3, Sloka 1. The whales are the thrill of creative breathing, which, when the time comes, will become movement and differentiation. That is, matter will unfold from the inside out. Vibration of the 7th eternity determines the numerical value. Vibration and eternity, single component of number 7. 7 eternities, 7 vibrations. The 7 vibrations of each eternity, there are the 7 eternities in total, 49 vibrations as the 49 manifested lights, which is essence revealed in creative potential of the divine person. The cycle corresponding to the description of 3rd stanza of the 1st sloka corresponds to the last 7th tremor or thrill of the 7th eternity, that is potential 49th fire. Stanza 3, Sloka 1. 3 plus 1 is 4, 49 lights, 4 plus 9, 13 and 4. 4th plane is the plane of archetypes, that is Mula Prakriti, Prakriti, Akasha radiates from there. The last vibrational thrill of the 7th creates the first form of the non-form, the 4th internal state of matter, which preserves the first 3, monad and matter. The key point, stanza 3, the 3rd and manifested logos, Sloka 1, the first logos manifested. So on the 4th plane, the plane of prototypes, there is a phenomenon of the great mystery, when the 3rd and manifested logos becomes the one manifested. That is deployment, not being an increase in size, there is only a change in state. The change of states, when the third becomes the first, and there are essentially four. This is the prototype of seven. They are assembled and ready to manifest from the inside out, like a lotus bud. Description of the state of space. The last seventh vibration become before differentiation. Stanza 3, Sloka 1, the key point. The Kalahamsa's wing was not divided, so it possessed its impetuosity, transmitting unity to all Manvantaras. The key point. Stanza 3, Sloka 2, the inner formation of the carrier or basis of time, its inner essence, manas, which is a condition, will become the appearance of time. Then, when the time comes, the key point. What has the power of propagation is the last or final one before the start of the new action or cycle, the power of the vibration of darkness, or the breath of the spirit, which rose above the slumbering waters of life, touched in this swift movement the entire universe and the germ that dwelt in it. From this moment, another process begins. Conclusion. The waters of life have ceased to slumber, since absolutely all space is touched. The first movement of the wave or rime was given the beginning of breathing. The key point. The state of unity of the three forces of light and three forces of ray, 3 plus 3 is 6 in one or solitary merge into one, and this one drops becoming 7. One solitary ray falls into mother deep, not just into her bosom or matter, but precisely into her depth, that is, by the force of penetration, he impetuously enters the mother deep, drops or touches the germ, and shoots through it. The ray shoots through the virgin egg, causes the eternal egg to thrill, and drops the non-eternal germ periodical. The ray is white, perfect, one might say absolute, from which 7 prismatic rays emanate and become one with it again. The branching of the ray beyond the circumference is revealed by necessity of law of manifestation. It is the combination of the two opposite forces for fertilization of the germ. The external force and the internal one, both male and female energies, and only the unity of these forces will give a third force or ray, which itself is this force and ray of simultaneous fusion. With further differentiation, it condenses into a world egg, which is sevenfold like the world. Conclusion. Darkness radiates light, self-fertilization, and light drops one soul to ray into the waters, into the mother deep, resurrection. The ray shoots through the virgin egg, creation. The ray causes the eternal egg to thrill, destruction, and drops the non-eternal periodical germ, which condenses into the world egg, regeneration. Stanza 3, Sloka 4. The radiant nature is an ethereal substance, a spark of the mind. It's accumulating to manifest the first ray from the atom. 14 joules of the golden egg. 7 plus 7 is 14, 7 inside, 7 outside an egg. 14 joules. 14, 5, minus 5, the symbol of manas, the mind preserved in the golden egg. 7 inside, the solar inside. 7 outside, the lunar outside, the form of mind, 7-ray star. The key point. The occult goal is to preserve the mind. The form of occult goals is explained in the fourth initiation. 3 into 4, or into the form of the fourth initiation. The fourth initiation is the crucifixion, the symbol of the cross. The student has mastered everything that the 3 worlds of experiment, experience, and expression could give him, and now free he is. The key point. The 3 stages of astral light, the 3 worlds of experiment either, is the 7th principle of astral light 3 degrees above radiant matter. Atom, the 7th principle of molecule, 7 inside, 7 outside, 7 principles of the unmanifested plane, 7 principles of the manifested plane, as above so below. At the 4th initiation, the construction of the Antakarana, the bridge connecting the personality, the soul and the monad, is completed. After the completion of the Antakarana, the causal body burns and the soul merges with the monad. The soul is on its own plane of existence. The key point. The radiant egg, which is the threefold in itself, collapses, spreading its milky white clots in the depth of the mother. It has this ability to collapse and spread as the depth of the mother of the heart has opened. And it becomes septenary because the mother has cast it, like 3 into 4, into the bowels of Maya. Conclusion. The 7 paths to bliss and the great causes of suffering take shape in the radiant nature, manifest internally and externally. Stanza 3, Sloka 5. The key point. The root remains. This is the 3 that stay for further development of differentiation. The first 3, that is the root, cast their shadow or form, and 3 more appear, their reflection, and these 6 are one. The light remains. This is a quaternary 4 which has yet been created from the 3 and connected them at the midpoint, which is 4, the center of the 6-pointed star. At the start of movement, the radiant and cooled matter begins to disperse, forming clumps, which is a stellar matter, the seeds of future worlds. Yet Oyahu is one. Each one from the primordial septenary, the primeval 7 rays forming the manifested logos, is itself septenary. Stanza 3, Sloka 6. The darkness disappeared in the body of fire and water, father and mother. The darkness disappeared when the impulse of the ray of creator united spirit and matter in the nature in the body of water and fire. The body of fire is the spirit, the body of water is matter. 9 and 9. A 9 is a key symbol, and the number corresponding to stanza 3, Sloka 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. It's the impulse, it's not mechanical, but purely spiritual, nervous impulse. The ocean of space received a spiritual impulse, and it became radiant light. Darkness vanished in the creation of the rays of the One. The body space of the entire nervous system of the universe began to function. The processing and exchange of information of each organ fillings in this single body began. This exchange became an exchange of various internal light streams. By transfiguration, transformation, and multiplicity of light illuminated the entire space. Darkness vanished because the movement of life began. During this period of evolution, the nervous system of the universe is being created, a cumulative integral morphological and functional system that will allow, as an integrative system, to link the future regulatory systems of the universe into one whole. The spiritual immunity of the universe was created. Stanza 3, Sloka 7. The 7th sloka corresponds to the 7th veil. It frees the creative forces for unhindered movement. And this is the path of shining light. Those who can follow the path will be able to become creators or builders of the universe. This is the last test. That is the union of 6 and 1. This is the union of 10 or 9 and 1, which is the essence has 7. The last is always the most difficult. This is power of advancement, the beginning of movement. There is someone who can overcome the last test according to Dzyan stanza. This is Lan or disciple. Disciple either at the teacher's way, walking along the teacher's way. In other words, Lan is someone who can walk the path of the shining light. The radiant child is something that just been born, and as development in the very germ, a child at the beginning. Radiant, a ray at the dawn of Manvantara, of the two, father and mother, their bodies of fire and water, two spaces of light and darkness. At the dawn of Manvantara, the dark space is manifested by light, and this is Oyahu the younger, the son of the dark space. Oyahu the younger is differentiated, is a reflection or shadow of Oyahu the older, who cannot differentiate due to his absolute value. He who bathes in the light of Oyahu will never be seduced by the veil of Maya. In order to bathe in the light of Oyahu, you need to have identical structure, become crystal clear. Then there will be connection with a single light, the sun, the solar logos, which is devoid of the veils of Maya. Bathing in the light of Oyahu is the higher self. Oyahu, he shines as the sun, he is the blazing divine dragon of wisdom. He is the solar logos in his only manifestation. Crystal purity, the basis of phosphoric tissue, the canvas on which the coagulation of condensed light will subsequently occur. Coagulation of folding, thickening. What does it mean in the evolutionary period of the beginning of differentiation? That means the victory of light over darkness in all periods of Manvantara, the law of cosmic willpower. Spontaneous restoration of light after any destruction, since it's possible to destroy only the physical dance that exists. What does not exist cannot be destroyed. In each current moment, open the future with its victory, that is, create new combination. 1 is 4, Eka is Chatur, the 4 takes to itself 3, and the union produces the Sapta, in whom the 7 which become a Tridasha, or the hosts of the multitudes. Eka 1 is Logos, Chatur is 4, and it takes in four aspects. It takes 3 logoi for itself, the 3 manifested and 1 logos in the 4 aspects, and their union gives birth to 7 logoi, and 7 levels are connected by bridges. Transition is carried out by 3 elements entering and exiting the fabric. Echo 1 is logos, takes into itself chatter of 4 logos in 4 aspects. In 4 aspects it takes 3 logoi for itself. The 3 manifested and 1 logos in 4 aspects. Their union gives birth to 7 logoi. The 7 logoi has 7 in it. 7 globes, which become 30 or 3 planes of existence. Spirit is 3 planes of spirit beyond forms above, matter below, and turns higher fire, spirit below water, matter. The 2 ashvans represent the transition from darkness to light, the 6-rays star. In esotericism, there are 2 logoi, 2 Avalokiteshvara. The first and the second logos, the first unmanifested logos, the second manifested logos. Triangle to quadrilateral. 1 complete triangle is 10. It consists of 4 points, 3 rays, and their connection is 10. The second one, complete triangle, also consists of 10 in sum, and their connection is another 10, or other in total 30 or 3 dasha. 33 is the second number, is 12 adityas, 8 vasus, 11 rudras, and 2 ashvins. It's spread from the inside out, 3 and 3. 12 adityas, 8 vasus, 11 rudras of 4 planes, and 7 globes, 2 ashvins. According to their numbers, 12 plus 8 plus 11 plus 2 is 33. The 33 is the second number of force, for the manifestation of which the universal soul mediator in all forms and life is necessary. For heart is the primary force, the cause of this force, manifested in millions of aspects and of all cosmic electricity existing in the universe, can be called essence. Stanza 3, sloka 7, 3 plus 7 is 10, 10 movement or diameter in the circle, the form of 9. 9 is the essence of our heart or the sun. As soon as the ocean became a radiant light and the child or form of ray 10 appeared, with the inner essence 9 and manifested 3 and manifested 7, which corresponds to 7 sloka 7, stanza 3. 9 plus 3 plus 7 is 19, 9 in 1. Essentially, this is the space of ectoplasm, repository of psychic energy. Ectoplasm is homogeneous and high degree of light reflection. As soon as the spiritual immunity was created and the nervous system of the universe began to be formed, the interchange of cells, colors, lights, and transfiguration, transformation, and multiplicity, the entire organism of the universe was completed. Stanza 3, sloka 8. The germ was single and was hidden in the divine bosom. The thrill touched the germ, and it ceased to be one. The phase of separation began. First it was dual, which corresponds to sloka 2, then threefold corresponds to sloka 3. That is, the germ turned from the third state into 6, namely duality of the first 3 occurred inside, so the world egg was formed sevenfold in its essence. It's a well-known fact that infants born at 7 months are viable like those born at 9 months, and 8-month-old fetus does not survive. There is no life force. Some believe that an 8-month-old fetus does not suffer and therefore doesn't survive. Stanza 3, sloka 8 is a state of space of light that has begun to shine, and in its radiance there is complete absence of suffering, since there is no reason for it. The darkness bowed before the light and in its preservation. This is the reason of future victory of all planes of existence, the victory of light over darkness, as there is at the very beginning that the universal evolution darkness became equal to light. Darkness became equal to light when it completely preserved it, and it was the evolutionary necessity for its preservation. The darkness bowed before light. At the very beginning of the evolution of the universe, darkness became equal to light. In this moment, light marked the victory at all planes of existence. The victory of light over darkness, its evolutionary step of the structure of the universe, step 8. The darkness was in the light for the reason of its appearance, and the spirit of the flame was in the moment. Sloka 8, completion of 7th sector before the 8th step, the appearance of man who will upset the balance scales with the appearance of suffering. Stanza 3, sloka 9. It gives birth when worms and fetus appear in it. As soon as worms and fetus appear, The following occurs. Its primary nature becomes dual. In order for the both to take place, a synthesis of the two opposing forces is necessary, which means that something unified must become dual for the original one to become substance for the beginning. The second, original becomes beginning. As soon as there is beginning, there will be movement of life. At one becomes variety. Third, the eternal becomes periods. Thus, the eternal becomes periods, the basis of which is essence. There are transformations into powers, or cognitive abilities of man, or rather, into their source. Ectoplasm is a place for preservation of psychic energy, symbol of the 9-ray star corresponding to Sloka 9. Here, correlate of electricity arises from this place. Each ray will divide the space and begin to combine and acquire its own qualities. The sun will acquire the quality of psychic energy, the moon space, Mars spirit called Mercury life, the divine wisdom of Jala Rupa called fire. Jupiter will give warmth, Venus mind, and the synthetic thought of Saturn will animate all 7 rays. Reason and creativity, mind and creativity are correlates of electricity, and the person, it is the quality of mental energy. Saturn, as symbol of movement of thought, of time, gives an impulse to the manifestation of correlates of electricity, and thought becomes mobile. This is how the world of its own is formed, of its form of expression, its own thought. That's how the mind creates. Precisely Saturn, the last one, green color, will give the impulse to all 7 rays, mind to all moving thought, so that each of the 7 rays acquires its own form, life, and own world. The greatest phenomenon changes human consciousness, improving the quality of everything throughout life is the best accumulation of psychic energy. In space, ectoplasm is the symbol of the 9-ray star, the symbol of the connection of the 3 worlds, is the reservoir of accumulation and preservation of psychic energy. Straight knowledge in which is composed of accumulation of past lives and stored in the chalice. The 3rd stanza of the 9th sloka of the fire is the basis of revealing psychic energy through division and unification, destruction and creation. Stanza 3, Sloka 9, creation of the basis of the heart of ectoplasm, storage and preservation of psychic energy. That is how fire waves appear, and these fire waves gather all the consciousness that is able to resist the vortex. The collective consciousness must resist the vortex, that is, transform the pattern of eternity into essence, into build an impulse that will manifest itself in all the diversity of future worlds and forms, that is Swabhavat. Stanza 3, Sloka 10. The vortex begins in the 10th sloka, that is the spiral that has an upward progression. This can occur when the sequence appears. A vortex that fills the fabric with the impulse, so the essence of the universe is created. It becomes woven or filled, becomes etheric space or etheric fabric. According to the events described in Dzyan, Sloka 10, the 2 opposite entities become one. A 3rd force that is free to have movement, potential creativity. The potential phenomena of creativity are the building impulse. The building impulse is the action of Father-Mother spinning the fabric. It begins to change the rhythm and properties of the boundless creativity of psychic energy. Sloka 10 is the change of the sacred nature, life and death. They change the state of the inner nature of man. That is, within man, every human being, there is a special place of darkness, and there is that the miracle takes place. From this point, conclusion, Sloka 10 of the 3rd stanza is the state of space, ready to give love. Stanza 3, Sloka 11. If the fabric or substance exists and has its phases and densifications of varieties of the pattern of eternity, which creates or forms worlds from the single state, it means that there exists something that creates these patterns of Usi or consciousness. That is the Father's breath. Mother causes the fabric to contract. Father induces the fabric to expand. That is eternal process of involution and evolution. That is the renewal of consciousness. The Father is outside, the Mother is inside. Atoms after the decomposition of the body into the primary essence, this body turns into vapor and preserved. is preserved in the bosom of mother. The possible shape of these arcs is limited to the figures known in geometry under the general term of conic sections. It depends on specific conditions: speed, distance, and direction, determining what type of arc we'll get: an ellipse, a circle, a parabola, hyperbola, but it must be one of the above. These phenomena are the result of confrontation between constrained and free forces, seemingly irreconcilable, but in fact based on interdependence and harmony. Fohat, having collected several clumps of cosmic matter, nebulae, and given to it an impulse, sets in motion again, and having developed the necessary warmth, allows it to follow the new growth. Combination of spirit and matter creates atoms in their pulsation. The human heart also pulsates, contracting and expanding. That is the fabric, the plastic essence of and spirit of matter. The pulsation comes from the interaction of internal and external. Losing heat, the gaseous body contracts, and the amount of heat generated by compression exceeds the amount it must lose in order to produce compression. During contraction, the external fire turns into internal fire, which is the heat that exceeds the amount of heat that must be lost in order to produce compression, or during pulsation, contraction, and cooling. Fohat transforms the inner fire into heat, independent for the propagation for its new growth, which is life. Then the suns separate and scatter in order to return to the bosom of mother at the end of the great day, in order to reconnect with her. The acting force remains the solemn solitude and can perceive only itself, or the inner merges with the outer. And this is the focus, the center. Striving downwards is the spirit matter, striving upwards is the matter of the spirit. The 11 sons of Brahma correspond to Sloka 11. That is the reflection of the actions of the Fohatic forces by the representative of the 11 Mansaputras. They constitute the totality of the eternal mind. The active force is in solemn solitude. It's the force of renewal of consciousness, from which the Abhavat fabric is created. The innate power is love. It strives for the essence that gave birth to it, for the free divine will. The one free force, the higher mind, or higher forces, is Aum. Aum is the power of renewal of consciousness. Each impulse renews the fabric of consciousness, and this action is infinite. This is all creative force fused with the absolute mind. Stanza 3, Sloka 12. And the seven appeared with brilliant light, absolutely pure and inviolable, which permeated all the planes of being, from the unmanifested to the future manifested ones, thereby giving the power of victory over darkness. Previous events are the following. There was purification. The place where the universe will be created was filled with the waters of life. This matter became a common universal mind. Then there was power to fill this place. The power is Svabhavat, who brought into the universal eternal pattern a construction impetus, this foundation, so that mind could resist the vortex movement of light which creates the web. This web was widespread when the two changed the universal pattern with their breath into many combinations and correlations, and the number of these patterns was unlimited. The matter cooled down from the fiery state and gave the sons the opportunity to manifest. By the time of the events in the 12th sloka, great purification took place, filling the mother with the purest crystal waters. Warmth appeared, Swabhavat gave a construction impetus to the foundation, its body. The base was filled with a web, or foundation, so the sons of rays could spread this web and change the pattern or the future individual worlds. The acting force is Fohat. He is the law itself, the legislator, the acting force of this law, and the executor. But there is something that's above the acting force of Fohat. There is Svabhavat. So he sends something to act like the law. Svabhavat, father, mother, sends Fohat, that is the sun. Fohat, the sun, becomes the universe. Atoms are the part of the universe. Fohat makes atoms solid. By giving them energy, it scatters atoms, which is the original matter. He scatters himself, scattering matter into atoms. Svabhavat spins web through the construction impetus, through its own body. Fohat scatters itself, scattering matter into atoms. The body of the universe is created from the body of Sabhavat, and the creative force of Fohat, which transmits the creative potential of matter, spiritualizing it. Thanks to Fohat, the ideas of the universal mind are imprinted on matter. These are the root cause of the world structure which designed the universe, interactions of being and non-being, formation of inorganic being and becoming beyond physical and chemical laws, universal consciousness, awareness, knowledge, the universal soul, totality of thought, will and feeling, absolute wisdom, the intelligent root cause of the world, the mind that designed the universe. How does Fohat imprint these ideas on the mother? Through electricity. Fohat is the guide of law. Its representative and representative of Manasaputras, which together constitute the eternal mind, the 11 sons of Brahma, the 11 Manasaputras. According to the planes of being, the earthly plane in the spiritual cross, symbol 11, defines the point of the return upward cycle. From this point, involution ends and evolution begins. Fohat can solidify atoms as a representative of the laws of aggregates of the eternal mind, that is, spiritualized matter and materialized spirit, as a representative of Manasaputra's 11 sons of Brahma can incarnate in the ego, and 12 solid atoms of worlds, the 12 reflections of the self-existent Lord, are the 12 Nidanas of the Kalachakra Hierophants. Each is a part of the web, reflecting the self-existent Lord like a mirror. Each becomes in turn the world. That is how Fohat acted, imprinting ideas on matter, giving form to life. A shackled will is an external force. Free will is an inner force that gives growth to consciousness of the worlds. Any growth depends on inner force, power, because at our level only this power is capable of acting consciousness. Symbolically, 14 manner is a circle divided by perpendicular, 7 in one side, 7 in other side, respectively in combination, or in the sum. 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 is the symbol of person, is the symbol of mind. 3 stanza 3, 12 slokas, 3 plus 12, 5, 15, monad 1 minus 5 together create the potential both of manas, which is ready to be manifested. Monad gives its light. Light is formed into mind, razum. The first appearance of thought of the mind is cosmos. The builders build worlds, formulate the universal thought into form. The first form, or the shape, is division of atom into 12 components of its nucleus, which is 3. Each of them becomes individual world as it has focus. The center of nucleus in itself and is a carrier of forma. Stanza 3 consists of 12 slokas. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 and 3 is the symbol is 6, symbol of the 6-ray star. 3 and 3 is the intersection of two triangles. Give 12 rays, 12 signs of zodiac, and each becomes the world. And each atom became a world of mind, a reflection of the divine mind, opening new growth of conscious inner force. So stanza 1, 9 slokas, the symbol of spirit, formation of the cause of sound, or silence. Stanza 2, 6 slokas, the symbol of matter, the first impetus to differentiation of space of absoluteness, the first spiritual impetus. Stanza 3, 12 slokas, the sun, descriptions of transformation of the energies of sun or the universe, the light, creation of the first root cause of the world, which shall project or design the universe. The 3 stanzas of Dzyan, the monad of cosmos. Mahat, the universal mind. The 3 unmanifested logoi, the 3 stages of the bow, the form of spirit, the creative word, the thought, spiritual immunity being born, and the basis of nervous system of the universe, the power of light that cannot be destroyed, lack of reason for suffering, the basis for the cross of life, protection from fiery waves, the space ready to give out love, creation of the focus, creation of the free will. The 3 stanzas is the creation of the new reference points and bases, which can begin the journey for life. The forces of reason, of mind, created the primal cause of the world structure, and now each of us creates the reason of our own world. and what it will be depends on each of us. Let each of us create the form of world, the very thought, and let it be beautiful.
Dear friends, that is the whole journey, 3 stanzas, and the whole review. We have exceeded our limit of time, but this is the power of love, and it can forge this shield, unpermeated shield, and this thought of the stanzas of Dzyan are ready to sound, and it means that the form is imminent, and the form is human beings, because if there is the harmony of sounds, it happens when people overcome some hardships, and this form is the new starting point. These are the 3 stanzas. This is the starting point for the journey of life. Out of fire, particular energy is created. This is the conglomerate of fire that unites this form. And the symbolic language, the tool for identification appears. What are the 3 stanzas for us? It's as if trying to see ourselves on the inside. What are we composed of? 3 stanzas is the instrument for identification. With their help, we can build our own world.
Dear friends, in these 4 years, we've had over 40,000 views of seminars of the Secret Doctrine. It means that there are people who've been interested and who can. And now we can see that the interest towards the Secret Doctrine and the name of Madame Blavatsky, with all the power of thought formation that today can sound, if it's ready to sound, with the stanzas systematically combined, it means that it will always be beautiful. Each of us, let the God that cannot be understood with mind, but let you think that each of us is the manifestation of this beautiful form. Dear friends, every end is the new beginning of the new cycle, the state of love with a light that is eternal and boundless. Let today's seminar that we're ending form the final system and the basis for this thread, forming these wings that will let everyone fly. Let each of you become the guide of the thought. Thank you so much. I'm not saying goodbye. We're always in touch, ready to answer all your questions, be with you, and this way is without end, as well as understanding the stanzas of the secret doctrine of Madame Blavatsky, which you light and love.
Наш прекрасный мир готов.
Our greatest world is ready. Every day, as the sun goes up, the new hope to become better shall be there, to become pure. There is the greatest research material in these 4 years, in 36 seminars, presented by 38 international speakers. So today we can say just one. Madame Blavatsky and her secret doctrine is the fundamental system of the highest spiritual flight of thought of the whole universe of each of you. Thank you. Keep in touch. Wish you all the best.